This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the faucet.
We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter.
Yeah, I want.
Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on.
He likes it. It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorce dad, single dad, divorce dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday.
I crack myself up. Let's just do it again. Yeah, I don't understand what the big deal is. Alright. We did it 33 times because of Nancy. She was off by 14 seconds. AOC, you're starting to piss me off. Why don't you just go run along and make me a drink? Well, Hillary, you're wearing white, so if you wanna, if you wanna point fingers, if I can't pull that off, neither can you. You, I must say, are stunning. I like the whole Melania Trump look you have. And, I love your neck. Mine used to look like that. Well, Julia, you're a fake Veep, so I don't even know why you're here. Alright, Nancy. I won't fool around anymore. You should be nominated to hospice, not Congress.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Wednesday. Well, I got to tell you, I think they need a few more lessons on rhythm. Boy, they just couldn't get it. And that comes from within. It's kind of a part of your character. Either you've got it or you don't. How the hell is everybody doing? Wednesday. Welcome to Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, right here every Wednesday like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. on that East Coast. Hope everybody's doing well. Less than 3 weeks to this election. And boy, is it getting kind of crazy. Hello, Jonathan. Where are you watching from, Jonathan? I want to know where all my people are watching from. You can comment on the comments on YouTube. If you're subscribed or watching the show, you can comment and I can see your comments right there. And or if you're watching, a lot of people, I get way more people watching from the official Peter G Show page on Facebook. The official Peter G Show page on Facebook. Not my other couple of pages, but the official Peter G Show page on Facebook. I can see your comments live right there. Like knowing where you're watching from, who the newbies are. Pensacola in the house. Love you. Thank you. I do have some loyalty. And I appreciate you very much. Phoenix, Arizona. Like it. Thank you, Billy. It's just amazing how this whole thing works. Everybody nowadays, you can pick up your phone and, hey, I'm doing a show. Theoretically, I guess you are. Are you on the YouTube, Jonathan? Thank you. But where are you located that you're watching from? But I appreciate you telling me which one you're watching from. But I'd like to know where people are in the country, in the world. As I mentioned, here I am getting ready to go all over the map again before we get into the nitty gritty. And it's going to get meaty again tonight. I promise you. Bear with me. But I was saying these past few weeks that the audio version of this show on my ranking scales of where I get watched from the most, besides the United States, which is, I hope so, that's number one. China is number two. For some reason, they have an interest in me. I don't get it. Northwest Indiana. Wow. All right. Welcome. I like it. We're spread out all over the place then. We got the Gulf Coast. I got the Midwest. I got a little bit southern, where we at? We Indiana. And I thought we had, where was Jonathan's? Indiana, Pensacola, Phoenix, Arizona. That's right. I thought so. And I got a lot of people in Arizona. Thank you for adding to the list. Please, please, please share. This leads me back to, it's crazy how this all works, because you start off with an idea, with a dream. There's things you want to do, at least the things I want to do. And I've been at it a while. I mean, if failing makes you strong, then I should be friggin' Hercules, because the walls you hit along the way are not fun. But I believe in what I do. And when I see new people come on, I truly appreciate it, because I know what it takes to sit here and watch for quite a while. You know, it's not like, you know, I have the shorts during the week, and that hopefully brings in some people, you know, because life is busy. But to take the time out of your life and go, hey, Peter G's on, I can't not love you, you know, because I'm just doing what I feel I need to do. And again, if you've watched me long enough, or for those of you that are new, I bring on all kinds of people. I bring every kind of story through life, some fun stuff, but some hard stuff too. People surviving cancer, alcoholism, the loss of a loved one. I mean, I bring on psychics to talk about things. We have all kinds of things. Right now it's election time, and I get a lot of hate mail because, Peter, stay out of politics. It's like, I just can't. I feel I have a duty to bring some information. There's a lot of people, because I realize there's so many people in this world that are just oblivious of what's going on. They have no idea. And so you take a headline here and you take a headline there, and you believe what they tell you, which is even crazier, but it's hard to believe that you're being lied to. And it took me years to figure it out, but I did. And now I'm passing this information on to you. And I'm hoping that I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm hoping that I bring information to you that leads you to dig a little deeper, to judge for yourself, to not say, well, you know, what makes Peter think he knows what the hell he's talking about? I didn't say that. I'm taking information from other people, bringing it to you, and then you decide. That's my job right now. So thank you for tuning in. And for those of you, again, I know life is busy. I do. I'm busy. If I didn't have to do this show, I don't know if I'd have time to watch me, and I love me. But you can take the show on the road. You put an earbud in your ear, Google Peter G Show podcast. There's an audio version. It's not as, you know, I like the video version because I show things, and I like, you know, I'm a visual kind of guy. The way I like TV. But the audio, people love podcasts. They love while they're at work, while you're driving in the car, you're exercising, you're at the gym, you're walking. I walk almost every day, 5 days out of the week, basically. And I put earbuds in my ear, and I start listening to whatever I need to listen to. I listen to myself, because sometimes I'm going, oh, Peter, why'd you say that? Then again, a lot of times it's like, all right, you're getting better. We all improve. Life, as long as you get to wake up every day, you get the opportunity to improve with yourself, and God knows I need it. But my intentions are good. Entertainment with a purpose. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope everybody's doing well. I really do, because I appreciate you all. But please, 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 I need your help. You got to share. Share these videos, share the show. Say, hey, check this guy out. You might want to check him out. He's kind of here or there, but he, you know, he has a point. Sometimes he's really, really entertaining. Sometimes, you know. It's always a good day, though. Again, tonight I'm going to talk more about, we're in our final less than 3 weeks to this election, and things are getting crazy. I mean, the bashing is getting more intense because, how do you put it? They're willing to say anything to get you to vote for them. Now, who is them? That is for you to decide. I'm just going to bring some points out there. But as far as I'm concerned, the left is desperate. I was a lefty many years ago, because things were a lot more sensible back then, or at least as far as I knew. But things are so off the rails that even Stevie Wonder, can see that things are getting crazy. They've been crazy. It's just a radicalism. It's a radicalism that is taken over. And I truly believe, unfortunately, that the right has become more democratic than the left in many years. And I never was really believing in Republican, Democrat, this and that, but this is the way it goes. I believe in common sense. And I'm going to bring you more information tonight, again, on why, to help open your eyes, that I think there's huge lies going on. And just because they've conditioned you to hate the orange man, they just have. And so no matter what is said or done, you're going to back an empty shell with puppet masters in the background, just so you won't support the orange man, because they've conditioned you to believe that he's a horrible, horrible human being. And I beg to differ, because I see through it. But that's for you to decide. I'm not telling you what to do. So far, it's still America, and so far we still have our freedom, but we're losing it little by little. You'll find out once you realize your pants have been taken from you, for those who don't understand. But again, I know there's a lot of people that I am never going to reach. They're going to say, screw you, Peter. You're an idiot. And I'm good with that. Can't scare me. But there's a lot of people who are just oblivious and really don't know which way to go. And those are the people I am trying to reach, because they're just innocent still. And you just don't know. And if you believe everything on TV, I never thought the TV would be that big of a liar to us, but it's nothing but a big advertising campaign now for one side. It is so unbiased. So that's what we're doing tonight. So we're going to talk more about that tonight. Sorry, I have to do this because there's a lot of newer people that are coming around, and I need to make sure that everybody's catching up onto the same page, because a lot of people watch the short clips through the week and they don't really understand, and they'll heavily criticize something because they don't understand. It's like, you need to watch the show. That's all I can tell you. You'll get the full spectrum of what's going on if you watch the show. I promise you. It's entertainment with a purpose. Come on, who's got it better than us? But I digress. All right, so that's basically what's going on, where we're going tonight. But please share and subscribe, okay? YouTube is killing me. They are throttling me back. You called earlier. Like, not tonight. In the past? See, I get to read things now because it's a little quiet. But, yeah, we'll bring phone. I'll tell you when we are going to have phone calls. The night we're on the night after the election. That night I am going to dedicate, no matter who wins or loses, I'm dedicating that whole night to nothing but phone calls. Nothing but phone calls. I'm hoping that, I know what I'm hoping for, but whatever happens, happens. But I will open the phone lines and just let you guys unload. And that's what we're doing on the 5th, or the night after, the Wednesday after the election day. That's coming up in just less than 3 weeks. But for now, I feel it my obligation and duty to bring you information that is important to deciding on what the hell is going to happen. But in the meantime, first, before I cut into that, I want to take a quick break. Let's hear from my good friends over at Clean Start Products with their money-saving fuel additive DX1 driver. It makes sense to save money. I mean, it just does. But we'll be right back, and then we'll get into some good stuff.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Thompson of CleanStarProducts.com. This is DX1 Driver in the news, and here's what our friends have to say.
So I'm here to recap on the DX1 I've used. I put it in the oil and I put it in the gas. While I'm using it just for about 3 tanks. Cleaned everything out. I got every ounce of power back in my truck.
When Jared's truck was new, it had a lot of power. Then over time, it began to slow down. He got it all back with our DX1 driver program.
Something you got to see for yourself. It's a great product. It's affordable. And it blows all the other additives and esters out of the water.
DX1 driver is the finest oil in the world from a California environmental company. It goes into the fuel system and the oil. It's the only green grade product qualified for the carbon credits program, giving you better fuel mileage, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. So join the fuel savings revolution today. Go to CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right. Clean Start Products. I'm telling you, the DX1 driver, been saying it a lot lately, but 2 words, it works. It works. A lot of you people probably have high mileage cars, older cars. Let's face it, cars are expensive. Gas is expensive. But if you want your car to run really well at its best, little bitty bottle of this Clean Start product, use it for a few times to get it all good and cleaned out. And then I would keep a regular maintenance of it. Every other gas, fuel up, things like that. You just take a little bitty bottle like this. This is actually the big bottle. This is for SUVs and trucks. You pour one of these in your clean oil change. And then when you fill up your tank, you put it in a full tank of gas. The part that goes into the crankcase lasts the whole oil change. So that's 5,000 miles, basically. One of these every time you fill up the tank. And if you have a regular car, a regular, 4-door sedan, 2-door, whatever, it's this little bitty bottle right here. Boom, boom. You wouldn't think what can this little thing do? Does a lot, right? Tell you what to do. Don't believe me. I want to send you to the man that has all the answers. Go to www.cleanstarproducts, their website.com. There's a phone number there. I'm asking you to call that number. Ty Thompson will answer all your questions personally. He believes in his product. He loves what he does. He knows what he's got. And he'll answer all your questions. I mean, why believe me? Go straight to the source. I do use it, though, and I know what the difference it made. But should you decide you want to order, you mentioned that you saw it on the Peter G Show, and he will send you 5 bottles for the price of 4. All right? 5 bottles for the price of 4. I noticed it within about 3 or 4 tanks of fuel that my big, heavy, high-mileage Ford F-150 started just being a lot more responsive to when I touch the pedal for takeoff. I don't put my foot in it. I'm a kind of a gradual because that thing drinks gas like a pig, but it's a big pickup truck. It's a 4-door. But I love that truck. My daughter needs it. She has horses and she does things. I do things. And I just noticed it running better. And that made me a true believer because I know how the thing breathes. I've had it for years. So anyway, just go to www.cleanstarproducts.com. Go to their website, find the phone number, call the number. Say, hey, I saw this on the Peter G Show. I got some questions for you. Should you decide to order, you tell them you saw it on the Peter G Show. Ty will send you 5 bottles for the price of 4. A deal's a deal. And again, cars are expensive. They're expensive to repair. It's just like taking care of yourself. How do you expect to be at your perfect health if you're eating, pizza every day or something like that? Put this in the motor. Put this in your fuel tank. It just gets everything up to its optimum performance, more lubricity. Everything's working better, smoother. Get you all that horsepower back, all right? Please. I love what they do. They do what they say that it does, and they believe in their product, and so do I. So tell them the Peter G Show sent you, all right? I love you for paying attention to that. Order while you can. All right, let's get going. Timeout. So much stuff. I got to tell you, there's so much content that I gather through the week that I have to start pick. It takes me more time to pick and choose what to use and what not to use because there's so much news going on right now. The idiocracy is just off the charts. The hypocrisy. It's just I can't make up my mind what to do for the show because there's so much craziness going on. But first, let's take a little sip. Here's to everybody. Thank you. And again, in these crazy times, just try to be understanding. And, I know what we're starting to argue amongst our own friendship and all that. And it's like, it's not worth it, but it is what it is. Okay. We've too many good times before all this stuff happened, but they're doing it on purpose to divide us. Don't let them divide us. Salute. Whew. Smooth. All right. So tonight I want to go back on a few things that I've talked about last week, and because of things that are happening, and they're still pushing this agenda that bugs the shit out of me. It just really does. Oops, sorry to swear. It bugs the heck out of me. And I'm still going to stay on it because there's lots of people who just completely over your head. And I'm going to go back to this this Agenda 2025 2025 baloney. We're still talking about this stuff, and you got to get it out of your heads. It's baloney. Getting ready to say bullshit. Oops, I just said it. It's baloney. And but they've conditioned you. You're gonna believe what they tell you, so I'm not blaming you. That's why I have no hatred. It's just they've done a great job selling this stuff. I'm just not one of them who bought that crap. But this is Robert Kennedy Jr. talking about Project 2025. Now, again, folks, this is a guy who wanted to run as a Democrat for presidential election, and they wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him run as a Democrat. A Kennedy, regardless. They didn't let anybody run. Doesn't that make you think? How democratic is that? They didn't let anybody run. So they put old Corn Pop, who was losing his mind, and we've known that for years. And then they finally, when it was just, you couldn't hide it anymore, which I don't know why it took so long for the public to figure this out. Because they just brainwash and you just pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. But anyway, and then they finally just kicked him out, and he's pissed. And they put her in. I'm not with her. I'm sorry. She couldn't even get one vote in 4 years ago when she tried to run. She never even made it past the primaries. She was the first one out. How the hell you're going to believe in her? She has nothing. She can't finish a sentence. But I'll get to that later in the show. And again, why do I say this? Is because I know and I truly believe. But again, I'm never going to change everybody's. I don't want to change your mind. I want you to figure it out for yourself. I'm just pointing in certain directions. That's it. So you can. And on top of that, I was again thinking about it today. I've yet to have one single person when I'd open up the phone line. Not one single person will attempt to call me and try to convince me, to educate me as to why I need to think differently. Not one. I'll get the name calling through the week. I'll get bad, crappy emails and you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Not one person will face me, not even face me, get on the phone and try to educate me as to what I'm thinking is the wrong direction and why I should be on her team. Not one. And I'll stand by that. You can pull out all the propaganda papers and everything you want, but I tend to listen to the people, the boots on the ground. I don't want to hear from everybody patting each other on the back from that team or either side. I do my work. You listen to the people. If they tell you everything is going great, I hear I can't afford to buy bread. Gee, that don't sound like what they're telling me. Who am I going to believe? I'd rather believe the normal person. And again, not the ass kissers that have fallen into the brainwash thing. I'm talking about normal people. To say, look, I don't know, but I'm hurting. But anyway, here's Robert Kennedy talking about Project 2025. I'm trying to get off of this topic, but it keeps hitting me in the face because there's people who still believe and are putting out all these comments and memes about, the Orange Man and Project 2025 and all this crap. And it just, come on, stop it. And I'll prove it to you some more. But here, listen to Robert Kennedy Jr. first.
Here's what Trump said. You guys know what Project 2025 is?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Here's what Trump said. I didn't even ask him about that, but he said to me, they're trying to pin me with Project 2025. He said, I never even heard of Project 2025. And he said, that was written by a right-wing asshole. And then he said to me, there are left-wing assholes and there are right-wing assholes. And it was a right-wing asshole that wrote that. That was his quote. President Trump, to me, in 2016 to 2020, I fought everything he did. He appointed people to, he appointed an oil industry lobbyist, Ryan Zinke, to run Interior Department, a coal industry lobbyist run the EPA, a pharmaceutical industry lobbyist run the Health and Human Services, a telecom lobbyist to run the Federal Communications Decision, and so on. And these were all people who were taking those agencies and turning them predatory against the American public. I was suing him and I was fighting him, publicly criticizing him. He said to me when we met, he said, the last time I came into office in 2016, I had no idea how to govern. And he said, we didn't even expect to win. Suddenly we won. And you have now 2 months to figure out who, he's got 14,000 appointments to make. He said, I was surrounded by business people and lobbyists who said, you got to appoint this guy, this guy, this guy. And he said, I listened to him and I did it. He said, they were a bunch of bad people. And he said, we're not going to do that this time. We're going to do something different. And he's interested in his legacy. And he wants his legacy to be the president who ended the wars, who brought the money home to rebuild the middle class in this country, who ended the censorship, who ended the power of the CIA over the American people, and who made America healthy again.
You got basically a Democrat siding now with the orange man. He had to go run independent, and then he dropped out because they were fighting him because they don't want, because if he went as an independent, he's going to pull away from some of the Democratic votes. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of people who are not buying into this whole left-wing craziness. There's nothing fair and equal about what's going on. There's no plan. But again, they've conditioned a lot of these people. It's like they don't care. They've learned, they trained them to hate the orange man and anybody but Trump. That's the whole thing. No matter, even if they're on the Titanic, and they are. There's no plan. She can't answer a freaking single question with an honest, decent answer, or at least with a decent answer. Not even honest. She just circles. It's just this play on words. You know it. You can call me all the names you want, but you know it. She doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Besides, she's got hope and joy. It's like, so do I. Always have. But that doesn't get anything done. And if you watch this thing with Robert Kennedy Jr., he said it. Trump, came into office and he started relying, you have people around you. You have, supposedly people that are going to specialize in certain areas, and you got to lean on them and rely on their opinions too. And he made a big mistake because people said, yeah, you need to pay attention to him. Let him tell you what, this and that. And he made a big mistake. He won't make that mistake this time. He learned. And even with all those mistakes, he still did better than what's going on now. But he was getting kicked the whole way. Because he's, they don't want him in there. He's going to ruin all the corrupt people's games. But that's just one little thing. Now, again, you don't believe me about this 2025 thing. That everybody, I can play this till I'm blue in the face to a lot of, my closest friends, people that just believe in, Kamala's amazing. She's friggin' amazing. She's going to bring, it's time for change. It's like they're the ones that screwed everything up and they want to change it now. But they'll still blame it all on the orange man. But here's what's going to happen. I mean, 2025 is what they're trying to pin on him. But yet, here, check out this video. And it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll explain it to you even after. But here you go.
Wait a minute. Mickey Edwards, the trustee from the Heritage Foundation? Where did I hear the Heritage Foundation? Oh, that's right. Project 2025. All you that suffer from TDS try to tie the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 to President Trump. But why is a trustee from the Heritage Foundation endorsing Kamala? Wouldn't they want to endorse Trump if he was going to use their Project 2025? You can't make this shit up.
No, you can't make this shit up. So what do you think? This trustee from the Heritage Foundation, he's just a rebel and he's rocking the boat? No. No, let me help you on this. The Orange Man never had anything to do with 2025. I know it's going to break your heart and you're going to have steam coming out your ears, but tough titty. You're wrong. They'll say whatever they have to say to sway you to hate the Orange Man. You got to get it into your head that this guy is not as bad as they paint him to be. All his court cases are all going away. I'll get into that. I got so much stuff I want to get to and only so much time. But it's all going away because they've just railroaded him. They're in such fear of him because he's going to disseminate all their corruption. So they're in fear for what they have built and have been prospering from because they have just basically lied to you and you guys buy into it. And they don't care what happens to you. Gaslighting. The Democratic gaslighting is just off the rails. That's all they do. But you believe them because, again, they sell it really good. It's just pitiful. But again, so explain to me how, and this is all stuff, these articles and all that, you can look them up yourself. I looked it up. It's true. Just Google it. Even on Google, they cover up a lot of stuff, but it's true. Let's go to a little bit something else. These hurricanes and all this stuff don't let it go away. This is all going to be Lahaina 2.0. There's a lot of fishy stuff going on, but the money, there's been a big, seeing a lot of arguments on my short clips about no, FEMA didn't steal the money and blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, no, they didn't really steal it. They quietly diverted a lot of money. Let's just make it a little more subtle so it doesn't hurt your feelings so much. No, they screwed over the money they should have had for us, the American citizens, because they did give it all to the migrants that are coming over, the 20 million that they're putting in hotels and giving, food cards and debit cards and phones and free health care and you name it. And it's a mess over there in the Carolinas, way more than what they're saying, just kind of like Lahaina too. Same thing. There's some fishy stuff going on, and I'll probably end up getting into that stuff after the first of the year because something's not right. But here's also I just want to play a few things, some people that bring some facts to the table. All right, you're welcome. Don't mention.
So the government keeps saying that they're not taking funding for disaster relief and giving it to migrants. And when you try to research it, that is what it looks like on the surface. But when you start to dig a little bit deeper, you'll find that on FEMA's website, it talks about the Shelter and Services Program. Now, where are they getting this funding? It depends on where you look. But if you look at this main page, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security will provide $640.9 million available funds specifically for this purpose, okay? So what is the Department of Homeland Security? What are they responsible for? Who are they supposed to be funding and what do they do? U.S. Department of Homeland Security. The department's work includes custom, border, immigration enforcement, emergency response to natural and man-made disasters. Excuse me, what? So the Shelter and Services Program is taking money away from all of these other things because it's not like they just have unlimited available funds to be giving into wherever. They have to delegate the funds that they have to certain issues. So they took almost $650 million and gave it to the problem of immigration that we're having in our country, which of course this administration says isn't a problem. The victims of Hurricane Helene and now Hurricane Milton are being offered loans, but to my knowledge, no one has actually qualified for those loans. I just thought it was interesting. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and as always, I look forward to hearing your thoughts about all of this down below.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, people. This is just the beginning of what's going to be going on. I mean, our money has gone, your taxpayer dollars. I mean, some people don't pay a whole lot of taxes regardless, whether it's $1 or $10 million that you're paying into taxes. The one thing I'm sure of, it's not going to you. It's not really going to help you. It's going to help everything but you, every country but us. And I'm fine if we take care of us and then we go, we're fine, we're good, our homeless are good, our veterans are good, our health care is good. We should probably give outside of us now because we're good. But this is what totally blows my mind. I just don't understand it. How they help everybody but we the people. I guarantee any town USA, whether you're wherever you're watching from, I guarantee you look on your street corner, your freeway entrance ramp, down by the train tracks, anywhere, and you got people begging for money, homeless people living under, outside in the, you see it, and I'll have him back on this year. Every year I bring on Pastor Ray Pollitt from Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. He takes care of a lot of homeless in his area, and as it gets to be wintertime, these people they're drug addicts. Everybody's got a story. And he's out there trying to keep them warm during the winter and all that. This is so unnecessary. I now know, because of all this money that has gone to all these illegal immigrants, we could have solved homelessness no problem. The billions that we have put in to going to Ukraine and going to every other place but us, and to these illegal 20 million illegal immigrants coming over. And again, don't get me started on the all the criminals that are in that bunch. And yes, there are a few that wanted to come here for a better life. I get it. Okay, that's how they conditioned you and sold you to be, to go against the orange man, Mr. Meanie. All that money that they're giving to everybody but you. We could have solved homelessness 3 times over. 4. There's no excuse for people living out on the streets in our country when they're giving all that money everywhere but in our own country, taking care of our own. No excuse. Look at this. What we got here? Yeah. That's right. Speaking of which, I don't know whether it was just divine intervention right now or what. I was just speaking of Pastor Ray, and then I look over to the comments, and there's Pastor Ray. Now, maybe it's subliminal, or maybe I saw it and didn't realize I saw it, but your name came up in my head, and here you are right there. Hope you're doing well, my friend. We'll talk soon. There's no reason for this. But again, don't believe me. I'm just bringing things to your attention, okay? So here's some more. Here's a fact checker fact-checking the fact-checkers on FEMA and where our money has gone and how much money has been not stolen, okay? Stolen is a very mean word. Not stolen. Just diverted. Just like quietly moved over someplace else because they're figuring, what's the odds of having a hurricane? And, they probably won't need this money anyway, right? What's the odds of an emergency happening? We have people that were, freely crossing the border that we need to give them all this money. They need free money. They need free money while you struggle. Here's a fact checker finding out how much money actually got nicely diverted from the emergency funds. Here you go.
All right. So I came across a fact-checking article, and I'm going to fact-check the fact-checkers on this video. Just raw. I'm just going to do it live. So this fact-checking says Biden administration didn't steal $1 billion from FEMA for migrants. Trump claims is pants on fire. Okay. So, steal. Appropriate would be the word. But did $1 billion in the Department of Homeland Security's budget, which also is the budget for FEMA, go to migrants? All right. So a couple things you need to know. Department of Homeland Security is the master agency and FEMA is under them. So if the budget came from the master budget of the Department of Homeland Security, then that money could not go to FEMA. Remember, we talked about fungibility. Okay, so how much DHS, Department of Homeland Security, how much DHS funds went to the migrant crisis? Let's take a look. All right, so we got Department of Homeland Security announces $300 million. Let's click on this. So we got $300 million in direct funding to communities receiving migrants and $340 million for a awards process or a grant. Okay, so let's go here. 300 plus 340. I don't feel like using a calculator, so that's 640 million. All right, let's go back here. Okay, Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland gives 300 million in additional funding to communities receiving migrants. All right, let's go back over here. So that's another 380 million. So that's going to be 1.02 billion. All right, then we got DHS announces 77 million. Did that go up? Communities receiving migrants. So now we'll go 1.02 billion plus 77 million. That's going to be what? 1.097 billion, right? Yeah, 1.097 billion. And we've got Department of Homeland Security does another 12 million. So we'll add 12 million to 1.097 billion. What is that? 1.109 billion, right? 1.109 billion. And then that's within the FEMA budget, which is part of Department of Homeland Security. So there's the end of it. So right there's the math. 300 million, then 340 million. That's 640 million plus 380 million. That's 1.102 billion plus 77 million. That's 1.097 plus another 12 million. That's 1.109 billion. So I'm going to fact check Donald Trump as being wrong. He said 1 billion. It was a little over 1.1 billion. So Donald Trump got that wrong. He came up short on the amount of money that the Department of Homeland Security has funded the migrant crisis. I'm not sure if you want to take that as the fact checkers were right. Donald Trump's claim was wrong, but Donald Trump claimed that Department of Homeland Security gave $1 billion in FEMA funds to the migrant crisis, and there's the math. $1.109 billion. Enjoy your taxation.
You catch my drift? Now, again, I'm bringing you information and videos, people showing you websites, all this stuff from different walks in life, okay? I'm bringing you people. He's just a guy. I don't know, Jonathan. He's just, I find these people and, they're willing to do see, the thing is, these people are willing to go the extra step instead of just watching what's on TV and they're going, well, FEMA says they never did that. Of course they say they never did it. If you got a company that you're stealing from, are you going to sit there and admit that you're stealing? Hello, Michael. Love you. Thanks for tuning in. What you think FEMA is going to admit that they're purposely diverting over $1 billion that needs to go to the United States of America, the people of the United States in crisis from the floods? You think that they're going to admit it and go, yeah, we didn't think you were going to need it. Of course they're going to cover their ass. They're never going to admit. That whole friggin' administration, the FEMA, the DOJ, all those people, just repeat after me, corrupt. Starts with the DOJ. They have been railroading, they don't want what's going to happen. They do not want the orange man in office because he's going to be kicking all their asses out. They've been working on this plan to just ruin us and the New World Order stuff and all this crap that is going to be detrimental to you, your family, your children, and your children's children. And one man is going to ruin all that and set them back another 50 to 70 years. God willing. That's why they don't want him. And they're doing everything, saying he raped a woman 40 years ago. I mean, the stupidest crap. And a lot of you are buying into this. I mean, just think about it. 40 years ago, if he raped a woman, he's allegedly raped a woman in a department in a department store. And she didn't do nothing about it until 40 years later now. 40 years later now. And nothing she says really makes sense. But accusations, I could tell you the same thing. I can say, hey, you robbed me. And I could take you to court and I could run you through the ringer. Depends how much money I have. You know, they have tons of money because they're trying to take him down. They have tons of money. And just keep him in the limelight, saying he's a bad man, he's a bad man, he's a bad man. If you say it enough times, you're going to start to believe it. All these court cases, and again, do I have them on tonight's list? No, but I got plenty of content that maybe next week that'll show that all those court cases, they're all getting thrown out, and nobody's saying anything now. All thrown out. Remember that $450 million that he had to pay in New York for supposedly inflating his real estate, something that every single person that conducts that kind of business does? Yeah, well, they threw that out of court too now. And he got back his $450 million because he went to an appeals court where it wasn't in the corrupt judge from the Democratic, DOJ side. All those corrupt people finally got it into some people with 5 judges, and it doesn't make a damn bit of sense. But again, they put it in your face day after day. Bad man, corrupt man, criminal, rapist, felon, and you buy it because you don't get off the couch to look a little deeper. You just take what they say in a couple of paragraphs on TV, and TV is the worst. That is the left's personal advertising committee campaign. That's all they are. I know it's hard to believe. That's what makes it so difficult. It's hard for you to believe that. But they're throwing all these cases out. Why isn't he in jail? What? He's that strong? He's strong. Don't get me wrong. He's strong. He's put up with all this stuff. It's ridiculous. But again, nothing sticks because it's not true. And they even bend the laws. They break the rules, and they're doing everything beyond like your wildest imagination because they're so scared of him going back into office. Because this time around, he's got their numbers. But he's doing it so this country doesn't go down the tubes. And if you disagree, God bless you. Everybody's got their own journey. But I'm telling you, and I'm putting out this information for you to pay attention. I hope you vote. I hope you're going to vote, and I hope you take 3-5 people to make sure that your friends are going to vote too, because they're going to cheat to the last second. They're not going to go down easy. Every dirty trick, even trying to kill him. That's how desperate they are. It's not that he's dangerous. He's not dangerous to you. He's not dangerous to you. He's dangerous to them. They're scared shitless because he's going to ruin their corruptive game that we just happen to be on the playing board. We're little ants. But he's not dangerous to you. But that's what they've brainwashed you to believe. Conditioned you to believe. Just beating it into your head daily on every single channel on TV, night and day. That's how powerful they are. And this one man's getting up and fighting that fight. He didn't have to. He's a billionaire. He can go away and live a good life. And he's up. He does 3 friggin' rallies a day. Almost 80 years old. You're going to tell me he's weak and all this baloney? He's a machine. Let's talk about this guy Damon Amani, he does some really cool videos. He's I don't know how you do it. Again, I'm not that much into it, but I see him in a lot of videos. He inserts himself, like The View, especially. He goes after those women on The View. He technically inserts himself as if he's sitting right next to them on The View through, computer magicry, and he sits there and he's listening to them spew, and then he talks and just shuts them down big time. And but it's really good. But this time, this one little video, he doesn't say a single word, but he's very cool. You can find him on TikTok. His name is Damon Amani, and he's Persian. He knows what it's like to live under the thumb of Iran. They will kill you in a heartbeat. You speak out. Don't let it get like that over here, folks. But listen, he's going to show you something, and again, he's going to go to a website, and it's going to say some more about where the money's going. Check this out.
For fiscal year FY 2024, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security will provide $640.9 million of available funds to enable non-federal entities to offset allowable costs incurred for services associated with non-citizen migrant arrivals in their communities.
From FEMA's website. It's all from FEMA's website. They say what they're doing, knowing that you're not going to go look or care. Life is busy. I totally get it. But before, a few minutes ago, when I was ranting, again, I watch myself sometimes. When these shows are over, I watch myself. I criticize. It's like, Peter, calm down. Peter, just take a breath before you speak. All that kind of stuff. But who was it that said that? Oh, Jonathan. What was it? Jonathan said, "Who is this guy?" He was asking when I had the video on the fact checker. I don't know who the guy is, but my purpose being is that these people go the extra step and do the homework. Now, I know that not everybody's got the time. You got families, you're busy, and this and that, but this is our lives we're talking about. This isn't just about, one little menial thing that goes away. This is going to affect our everyday lives. And if your mentality is anything but the orange man, you're committing suicide. Ignorant suicide. And again, the word sounds a lot worse than what it is, but ignorance is just not knowing. Doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you just don't know. And that's what's going on. They've made it to where they've conditioned you to hate the orange man. So no matter what, she's empty inside, can't finish a sentence, doesn't give an answer that has any definitive, conclusion to anything besides, talking in circles. And they got you to love her. They got you to love her because it's anybody but the orange man. Please explain it to me. I've asked people to call me and explain it to me, but nobody ever has when I've opened up the phone lines. I can't say it enough. Maybe next week I'll give somebody a chance again as we get closer. Somebody who disagrees with me. There's plenty of people who disagree with me, but that's what life is all about. I don't need you to like everything I like. I'm not telling you to believe me. I'm bringing people's, content that are showing you factual information, the stuff that you have the opportunity to get on your computer, get off the couch, and or go find. So you can either believe it or go search for yourself. I want you to search for yourself. Question everything. I do. Said it before. Even my doctors, just because they're a doctor, doesn't mean they know everything. They see me for 10 minutes. They're under a lot of pressure nowadays. Hard to find a doctor that can relax and not be under the gun because of insurances and all this political crap. They see you for 10 minutes. They quickly open up their computer and read some notes and they got to remember and say, okay, so how you doing? Okay, breathe. Okay. All right. Here. Let's try this time. Let's try another pill. Pills. The pharmaceutical reps come in. They say, "Hey, give people this pill. It's going to, stop them from having this issue." Which what they really mean is it's not going to help, get rid of the issue. It's just going to cover it over. What's the long-term effect? Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I question everything. I want to live. I really do. I want to live. I want to live to be really, really old. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad, but that's my plan. I question everything. And you should too, because life is just too complicated right now. You need to have a grip on what's going on. You just do. Anyway, that was Damon. This one, news channels. I stopped watching ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN. I watch Fox, but I even question Fox at times because they flip-flop. There's a few people on there that I do trust a lot more than others, but I still question. I take everything with a grain of salt. But Newsmax is a online internet channel that's growing that doesn't have a lot to lose, so they pretty much are pretty truthful. And I got to give this guy some credit. He's talking about FEMA, and his name is Carl. I can't remember his last name, but he's on Newsmax. This is a little lengthy, but this is an eye-opener, and he delivered a really good commentary, and I'm grateful that he put this all together, and he gets all the credit. But I'm spreading the message, okay? I'm not stealing anything. I'm spreading the message because it's important. It's important for you to see. So here you go. Take this in. Check it out. Except that's the wrong one. I'm averaging a Magoo a show. Take 2. Hey, check this out.
People in the wake of Hurricane Helene, FEMA and this administration, quite frankly, are nowhere to be found. I want to put something in perspective for just a second. Consider these logistics. 4 million barrels of oil, 595,000 barrels of diesel fuel, 34 million gallons of gas, 38 tons of clothing, more than 7,000 tons of supplies, rope, canvas, cleaning gear, hardware, approximately 1,000 tons of candy, toiletry articles, stationery, canteen items, and approximately 14,500 tons of fresh, frozen, and dry food that mobile hospital constructed in less than 8 hours. Oh, no. That's not what we've provided in the last 5 days since Hurricane Helene basically destroyed all of Lower Appalachia. No. Those numbers was the logistical movement for the first 4 days of the Battle of Iwo Jima. 8,000 miles away from where I'm sitting right now, across the Pacific in 1945, 80 years ago. We haven't done anything close to that for our own tax-paying citizens here in 2024 in America. FEMA is broke. I mean, we're talking broke as a joke, in large part due to the fact that over the last 2 years, they've redirected over $1 billion to care for illegal immigrants. And I now can't even get a fresh drinking water to an actual tax-paying citizen. Mayorkas is begging Congress, which is conveniently now in recess, to give him more money so he can do what he should have been doing already. And it gets even worse, folks. Remember when those illegal, keyword illegal, migrants got debit cards, meals, free hotel rooms in what is probably the greatest slap in the face? Kamala Harris, via her broke FEMA, is only giving U.S. citizens, many who paid taxes for the benefits that went to those illegal immigrants. She's giving them a cool $750. Keep it, lady. I'm not done either. In Greensboro, North Carolina, right around the corner from much of this disaster, there are currently 800 open beds in a completely unused new facility, complete with all the amenities, baseball fields, recreation. Oh, never mind. That's actually being held open and vacant for potential migrant apprehensions. Are you kidding me? In the last 9 months, we have shelled out $24 billion to Ukraine, $8 billion to Israel, $2 billion to Ethiopia, around $1 billion to each of Jordan, Egypt, Somalia, Yemen, the Congo, Syria, and the Taliban. $230 million we put into a pier in Gaza that just floated away in less than 3 weeks. And this list goes on. The failure we are seeing unfold should make every American's blood boil. It is like an atrocious lack of priorities, lack of will, lack of competence, but it is not ability. We have the ability to help these people. I just showed you what we did on Iwo Jima in 1945, but we're not doing it. And in some cases, people are trying to help their own. They're trying to go out there and use their own resources. They're being turned away. They're being threatened. They're being even being arrested. One guy flying people off rooftops in a personal helicopter was threatened to be arrested. But the people in charge of this administration are like the most epic failures of human beings I've ever seen. I can hear libs now screaming, "Oh, Carl, you're not on the ground. You have no idea how it works." Yes, I do. Because I was literally the point man on relief efforts for Hurricane Harvey, for the California wildfires, and other disasters under Donald Trump. I was literally the guy. I was in charge of AmeriCorps and its parent agency that was the federal grant arm for stuff just like this. We worked hand in hand with FEMA, and let me tell you why we can't get bottles of water to people who are literally dying, who are stuck in trees. I'm sorry, I'm so angry about this. This is insane. The reason we can't get bottles of water to these people is because this administration, unlike Trump, who waived all that bureaucracy immediately, this White House values structure over function. The reason goods are being literally blocked, roadblocks put up by federal law enforcement in this hurricane relief effort and other recent disasters we've seen too, like out in Maui, is because the government, agencies like FEMA, they have approved vendors, contracts that unless items, bottles of water, food, or whatever, are from those specific companies, they cannot be distributed by government resources. Fact check me all day long on that. I know that for a fact. How messed up is that? And people are literally dying because of it. You do not hate your government enough right now. But I'm going to give you another reason to hate them even more. The reason all of this is happening, or I should say not happening, is because exactly what I pointed out last night from J.D. Vance. That this administration has appointed way too many people with PhDs and not enough people who actually know how to get the job done. This administration has appointed some of the least qualified people to be in charge. Tim Walz is like Einstein compared to most of the other people running our agencies. I know that's hard to believe, but it's coming into full circle right now because people are literally dying because of it. That's why this country isn't functioning right now. That's why every expert they've hired has been absolutely wrong. This hurricane response is just like a symptom of everything else. So look, Sam Britton, appointed to be in charge of nuclear waste. That's like kind of an important thing. He was the cross-dressing luggage thief that had approximately 0 qualifications for a McDonald's, yet given a senior appointment under Biden and Harris. Think about that. Rachel Levine, the Health and Human Services Assistant Secretary who pretends to be a woman. His previous qualifications in health include cramming COVID-positive elderly patients into nursing homes in Pennsylvania that he knew was wrong because simultaneously he pulled his parents out of there. You have Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, who had 2 months off during a supply chain crisis for daddy leave from a child he didn't father. Important to point out that when he was mayor, he also couldn't fix a single pothole in South Bend, Indiana. Jennifer Granholm, who once said that high gas prices are part of our plan to push Americans toward green energy. The Commerce Secretary, Gina Raimondo, this woman, she hasn't been focused on the port strike. This encompasses 40% of our commerce, and you're the Commerce Secretary. When I tell you we got to get this train back on track, trust me, it is so much worse than you know about. This hurricane response is like a microcosm of what's to come, folks. Take a hard, long look at who you're voting for. Are you voting for America first and get the job done? Or America last that will value a contract with a government agency over a taxpayer who just had their house swept down a river? I'm very angry about this, and you should be too. You should think long and hard about this and tell any of your liberal friends to also consider this. Because the next disaster, it might be in your town, and no one's coming to help you.
Thank you. It's all true. That's this administration. Nothing but a failure. It's the biggest joke, and it's funny because while this was playing, I got a little time so I could look around. I love this. Finally somebody. But if I had a nickel for every time I heard this, this is from Hotman 718. Trump does nothing but lie. Hot man, if I had a nickel for it, that's all anybody can say, I'd be rich. I wouldn't have to do this show. All he does is lie. But yet, when I sit down with somebody and get in a conversation, I go, explain it to me. I need you to tell me about what he lied about. I get nothing. He just does. Thanks, hot man. Maybe you'll call in when I open up the phone lines next week or something. Maybe you can explain it to me. I really need somebody to do it, but nobody ever does because they can't. But I don't blame you. You're probably a good guy, hot man. but you just misinformed. I don't know what to tell you. But thanks for paying attention. I'm glad you're watching. Keep watching. Maybe you may rethink things. Don't mention it. Now, this whole thing with the flash floods up there in the Carolinas, and there's talk about lithium mines, and how did it just happen over there? Again, this gets me really. If anybody has been paying attention to my show, I've done over a half a dozen shows on Lahaina because things just don't add up. With the fires that went over there and the reason for the fires and the excuses of the fires. Well, this is starting to sound like another Lahaina 2.0, and there's other places in the world that these things happen too. And there's always something going on that just happens to be in the background, but they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about what's going on, but there's talk of lithium in them there hills. Lots of lithium, more than any place else. And how does that happen that the people just didn't want it, didn't want to conform and start letting them mine, because it does a lot of destruction when you're mining that stuff. But all of a sudden we have this catastrophe and it wipes out. Well, they're not saying how many people are wiped out, but a lot more than what they're saying. And it's still not over. And they're not really moving that quick. It just seems like they're just letting it all just go to hell on purpose. I don't know, just my take on it. But here, why believe me? Here you go. Check this out.
27 days. That's how long it took for BlackRock and Albemarle to turn North Carolina into a corporate battleground. Because on August 31st, BlackRock rose its stakes in Albemarle to over 12 million shares. And then by September 12th, the DoD handed them $90 million to kickstart lithium mining operations. And Albemarle didn't lose any time, submitted state and federal permits right away, raking in $250 million in grants, all while the local residents protested against the land grab. And then what do you know? Here comes Hurricane Helene, destroying the very homes and lives of those residents. I mean, floodwaters surged, obliterating neighborhoods, leaving survivors helping neighbors, while those in charge stalled. But I bet you didn't hear what's happening in Chile, because it's another prime location for lithium mining that Albemarle has their hands on. And of course, it's been total silence on the recent devastation there. I mean, heavy rains have caused catastrophic flooding, displacing thousands and wreaking havoc on entire communities. And yet the world remains completely unaware of this crisis. And while communities in North Carolina and Chile take it just one day at a time, dealing with such unimaginable loss, I can't help but wonder if there's someone actually pulling the strings in the shadows.
Oh, I wonder. Chile, that's funny she brought that up, because was it over a year ago? They had catastrophic fires over there too, in a certain area, and there was talk of this stuff. So now that place that had got wiped out with fire, all of a sudden now there's no trees and grass and all that, has a horrendous flood, and there's nothing to hold the land together. Now you're saying, now Peter, with this hurricane, it's like, are you saying that the government made that hurricane? Not exactly, but yeah, I am. I'm saying that there's been weather manipulation secretively been going on since Vietnam. My father's told me stuff years ago, and I was a kid, not a kid, but I didn't give a shit. I'm going, Dad, come on. He told me stuff about that years ago. And then I started digging around. In Vietnam, they were trying to figure out a way how to flood them out over there, create rain, flooding them out. Now they can steer steer the storms, create more. I'm not saying that they made the hurricane. They enhanced it, though. That's what I'm saying. That's my theory, which is probably factual. They overseeded those clouds, and it just because that area does not they don't get that kind of rain, that kind of flooding. They just don't. And don't pin it on climate change with all that bullshit. I don't want to hear it. It's not climate change. They're screwing with us. When they want something, just collateral damage. You know, if they lose several thousand people, considering that they're all going to make billions, there's more important than just those poor people. They're ants. It's like when you're walking down the street and you happen to be stepping on ants. Well, you stepped on those ants because you had to get to where you're going. It's kind of like that. Sucks, but it's kind of like that. Except we're all about in the same range of humanity, and they just don't care. Hey, and then you wonder, well, why would somebody do that? And who's behind all that, pulling those strings, like she said? Well, I don't know. Here's another little factual information, and you can go dig for yourself. But all this coincidence just happens to be happening all at the same time on how quickly they got it together. And wow, but here's some more information that you can either take with you or just let it go in one ear and out the other and just be, just be. I'm trying not to swear. Just be. Check this out.
Here's what BlackRock, Vanguard, Kamala Harris, Charles Schwab, and Kamala Harris's husband have in common. These three big institutions manage Kamala Harris and her husband's retirement investments. So let's dive in. And yes, we're going to talk about North Carolina. Why? Because North Carolina has one of the most valuable lithium mines in the world. And three big institutions that are invested in these lithium mines, of course, Charles Schwab, BlackRock, and Vanguard. Sounds like a coincidence? Think again. The very people pushing for the green energy are tied to the profits. So while you might see some people that are actually with good heart fighting for climate change, Kamala Harris and her husband and the three institutions are getting rich off it. Makes you wonder, is this really about saving the world? The question is, who is really benefiting from this green revolution?
I've questioned that since the early Obama days, because who's benefiting from the green revolution? All the people that were tied into creating all these solutions that went nowhere. They got all the grants and funding of millions and millions of dollars. We're gonna make windmills. We're gonna do this, and all those companies took the money. They made a few, and then they went out of business. They disappeared. They're all lining their own pockets. All these lobbyists and all these, they're all in cahoots. We, the people, are the just the dummies. They get you believing. It's like, yeah, sure. Who doesn't want a better, cleaner, greener world? But us, the United States, are one of the cleanest in the entire planet. Go talk to India and China. Why don't you go and work on them? Because they are the dirtiest of pollutants. And they don't give a shit. They're not doing anything about it. They know it's nonsense. But we're sacrificing, and our tax dollars more than anything. It's your money. I think every show I'm doing now, at the end of the day, I'm talking about your money, whether it's $3 or $300 million. Still $3 that could be in your pocket. That they're taking and giving to some other schmuck who's living large. They're not worrying about what they're going to eat tomorrow. Stupid. It's just stupid. And you're buying into it because they're selling it real good. But I'm trying to give you something to think about. Okay? Because things are not what they appear to be. And again, how does it tie back into? It's all tying into this current administration because they got people behind them, the Soroses, and it's all what they say and what they do is two different things. And you got to admit that. And if you don't, then you're blinder than Stevie Wonder. I'm just bringing it to your attention, okay? Look, but recently, I mean, they're desperate. They're desperate. They've tried to kill the Orange Man. They've tried to run him through courts before they decided, well, we need to kill him because he's a threat to us, to them, not to the American people. He's a threat to the corrupt current administration and the people in the background, the ones that want to bring us to this new world order. That's who he's a threat to. So when they're bitching about how he's a threat to democracy, no, democracy's okay. He's no danger to us. He's a danger to them because he's going to blow their game. He wants to take all that money and give it back to this country. But they've led you to he's a bad man, he's a bad man, he's a bad man. The friggin' Border Patrol Union isn't endorsing Kamala Harris. They're endorsing Trump. I mean, again, people, talk and look at what's going on with the real people on the ground, the real people in this country, not the TV people. The Border Patrol has had it up to here. If she wins again, lots of them are quitting because they can't do their job. All they are is administrative. They've turned into office workers, documenting all these people coming in over the border. They're not doing their job. And they know all the corruption that's coming in, the fentanyl, the human trafficking, the cartels are taking over. They're in every state now. It's going to be a job to get this place cleaned up. It's not going to happen overnight, but that Orange Man, I promise you, is not going to sleep because he's going to make good of his promises. I know he will, as opposed to her, who I'm not with her, is just saying anything she has to say. She can't even say it with confidence. But she's making every promise she can. Now she wants to give $20,000 in reparations to black people and all that. I'll wait. Show me the money. And the time comes. She'll do that when she's first day in office. And you believe her. But you don't believe her. A lot of the black men in this world, they had to go get Barack Obama to go and bitch him out for not sticking with the people. The black man has figured out that screw sticking with, caring about just because they're black, just because you're green, just because you're orange. I kind of get that mentality. My father was like that to a certain extent. He was like, yeah, he's Greek. It's like, yeah, he's a Greek asshole. There's good Greek people. There's good black people. There's bad Greek people. There's bad black people, bad white people, black, orange people. There's good and bad everything. But I get it. Because I was kind of in the game too. I go, okay, your first black president, good, smooth speaker. I bought into that for quite some time. I bought into that. It took me the last quarter of the second term to finally see the light. That he wasn't doing anything for the black community. He wasn't doing anything for climate change. That money was just going out the door and it was just gone. It was going into other lobbyists and all their buddies' pockets. They were all becoming millionaires. Here, take this money, start a business for going green. Just say you're doing something and who cares? Didn't do anything. But the Border Patrol knows what's going on, and they are not backing. The friggin' Teamsters are not backing Kamala, the Democrats anymore. After 40 years, 50 years, they're not doing it. They know. They know. They know. Do you know? Or are you going to follow just because they stay with the anybody but the Orange Man trend, which is a small percentage of people. It really is. It's going to blow some people's minds, but God forbid. I mean, we again, it's not over till it's over. They're not going to give up easily. They will not, just lie down because they're being beat big time. But they have all the media pushing for her. She can do no wrong. She doesn't make a lick of sense, man. Nothing. Anyway, let's continue on. Sorry. So the lithium, I wanted to talk again. They had Barack Obama. They can't. She's screwing up. Biden can't spit out a sentence. He's pissed off because they forced him out. He's pissed, but he's got to kind of play along. But he's pissed, even when he can't remember. But then they had Obama, the Holy Grail. Like, we need him to come out, and it's like even the black guys that he's bitching out are not buying it. just like this.
My, have the tides shifted? Are you kidding me? Barack Obama. I didn't vote for you either time. I saw right through you back then, and unfortunately, so many of my black brothers and sisters, my own family, they couldn't see through you. But now they can. You coming out, trying to shame black men into voting for Kamala? Are you freaking kidding me? You sound like a slave master trying to get your slaves back on the plantation. Well, Barack Hussein Obama, you know, I always appreciated the fact that Obama, as an acronym, could also be mentioned. One big ass mistake, America. You didn't do nothing for the black community when you were in office. You pandered to the LGBTQ community, though. Oh, yeah, you pandered to them. You lit up the White House in rainbow colors and everything. What'd you do for the black community? What'd you do for America other than just inflame the race tensions in America? Yeah, that's right. You invited Black Lives Matter to the White House. You shamed Dallas police. You inflamed and stirred up racism in this country like nothing before. It wasn't Trump. It was you, Barack Obama. And now you have the audacity to try to shame black brothers to vote for Kamala? She ain't one of us. She's not pro-American. She's pro-illegal immigrant, period. Shame on you. I'm glad my black, brown, and white brothers and sisters are seeing right through you.
And quite frankly, so am I. He was a smooth talker. Still is. The yes, we can. Yes, we can. You want to have hope. You know what I mean? He brought hope, but he didn't deliver. Divide and conquer. They did it subtly, but they never brought everybody together. I'm telling you, the Orange Man has done more for black people than Brother Obama ever did, by far. Go ask. But again, go talk to actual people who know the grants for colleges and things like that he gave them the opportunity, and he'll do more again. But they conditioned you to hate the Orange Man, and I get it. It's just brainwashing. I never believed in brainwashing. Never did. But it works. You just keep repeating the same thing over and over again, and you get all the news agencies to say the same thing. Every week, it's like new key phrases, and they're all on it within minutes. And the new key word of the week, every week, because they're all in cahoots together. They're nothing but a PR firm for the left. They're all bought and paid for. They're bought and paid for. You are suffering, but yet you probably believe in them. They're doing nothing for you. They'll do nothing for you. They're never going to do anything for you, but lie to you. Nothing. But what do I know? I'm not asking you to believe me. I've given you tons of content, things to go look into, go look for. But, here's somebody who kind of has a little bit of sense. But again, that's for you to decide.
You think I'm brainwashed because I want America to be great again. But in the past 4 years, you've been convinced that Biden is coherent, that there are more than two genders, communism can actually work, that cow farts are causing climate change, that kids in elementary school should be taught about anal and masturbation, wearing cloth or paper over your face is based on science, that you should inject an experimental medication whose ingredients are unknown because they aren't required to tell you, and they can change the ingredients at whim. The laughing hyena sidekick to the dementia potato is somehow going to fix things when she was part of the destruction of things over the past 4 years. And that a well-respected businessman who, by the way, was loved by Hollywood, the people that you worship, government leaders, civil rights activists, until he ran as a Republican. And now he's a felon and a racist. Wait, tell me again who's brainwashed?
Oh, and by the way, cows don't fart. Cows don't fart. They can't. In fact, I learned this, I was probably 16 years old, from this good old boy, about if a cows have 3 stomachs. This is more, public service announcement. the more you know. Cows have 3 stomachs, and if they do build up gas, they have no way of expelling it. They can't fart. So even Bill Gates telling you this bullshit about eliminating cattle and things because all the cow farts and methane and all this total crap. He's the worst of the evil. But he's right up there with Soros and all of them. I don't understand how anybody could be so horrific, but this is what these people are. They're not going to stop eating beef. I guarantee you that. But they want you to eat crickets. Anyway, if a cow does get gas, they get bloated and it's no place for it to go. Their digestive system is just totally different. They have 3 stomachs. I don't know how it works, how it digests. But I do know that a cow, if he does get gas, they'll kick over onto their side because they get bloated, really in a lot of pain. And the farmer has to literally take a knife and stab them in the stomach to expel that. Doesn't happen a whole lot, but that's, I guess, a form of gas. But cows don't fart. The mere fact that they're telling you that you need to eliminate cattle because of their methane farts, I guess maybe only a farmer would know, but this is pretty simple information and factual information, and that they are lying. This whole thing, history, look back at what's been going on. All these things that woman just got through saying, all has been crap. They've lied to us. I played you a video last week of Obama himself saying that billions of people were human test results to the old Jabberini. They were testing it on everybody. They had no idea what it's going to do, and we know what it did. We know what it did to a lot of people. You may not want to accept it, but it happened. That's why doctors don't want to be doctors anymore. They were forced to keep their mouths shut. Otherwise, they'd be fired. They'd lose their license. All that manipulation, all coming over these past 4 years. It's just horrific. And again, what does that boil down to? Censorship. That's right, censorship. It's my final video. I want you to, this is Robert Kennedy Jr. again, talking about censorship. I played videos last week. John, is it John Edwards? What the hell is his name? The one who, climate change czar who flies around holier than thou in a jet, bitching about how, and Hillary Clinton too, bitching about how they've lost control because of the way that freedom of the internet and this and that, and they label anything, aka the truth, they label it as misinformation because if it doesn't fit their narrative, then they can't control you because they can't keep the lie alive to be truthful because people will figure it out and tell the truth, and they don't want that. Played it last week. That was out of their own mouths. Go watch last week's show. Out of their own mouths saying we need to censor speech on the internet and everything else because we can't control it. No free thinking. They want you stupid. They want you stupid. I had a video last week too. As the producer from MSNBC was secretively being videotaped by a woman while he was drinking wine, and maybe he's thinking he's going to get him some. And he openly said how MSNBC has dumbed down their viewers. They dumbed them down. And they do whatever it takes to beef up the current administration and the current candidate for the left, for the Democratic Party. He flat out said it. These aren't my words. Go to last week's show. Last week's show, there was a lot of factual stuff too. Not my words. Things I'm bringing to you to understand that when you tell me I'm full of crap, I'll tell you to screw you. Go watch that and then talk to me. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But these aren't my words. These are these people's words. Hillary Clinton's words out of her mouth. All these people's words, it's coming from them, and it's not coming from me. I'm just pointing it out, and you're pissed off because it's not following with your current reign of thought. I'll say other things. I'm trying to keep it good because I'm not mad at you. But I get mad because some part of me says, I'm trying to help you come around and figure this out, but you refuse. You refuse to take something that's right in your face, and you'll say, yeah, but still. I know that's true, but I'm going to stick with the lie. Get back on the Titanic. I love you guys. I do. Check this out. This is the last one. This is censorship. We're losing ground. They are censoring everything, including me. Check it out.
So the Democrats are trying to say that Donald Trump hates democracy, that he wants to be a dictator, but they're all advocating now, openly advocating the censorship of our speech. A fundamental bedrock of American democracy is the free flow of information. And when government gets involved in censoring information, that is the beginning of totalitarianism. What they say is, well, we don't want to censor all speech, just the lies. But they want to determine what's the truth and what's a lie. And who was the biggest perpetrator of lies during the COVID epidemic? It was the government itself. They were the ones promoting disinformation and misinformation.
RFK saying the government lies. Shocking. Shocking. Here's a little something while I was watching that I happened to tip in here. Mark Stewart says, I am a farmer's son. Cows don't fart. Horses do, though. Think about that. Well, I am a horse dad. Horse dad. My daughter has been dealing with horses since she was a year old. And now she's almost 19 and still. And yeah, I hear horses, when they fart, they fart. But you don't have Bill Gates talking about horses. He's trying to reduce cows, saying that methane from cows. Again, they're corrupt, people. They're all corrupt. They're all corrupt. Starting from our government. I know that they, we're always bending the truth, but they're really going to extremes. They want us down on our knees. They want to make this, a uniworld. Just because we're the United States doesn't mean that we have to stay in power. This nation can fall just like so many others. All right? Take all this into consideration. Next week, I'm going to be back on it again, as we will have 2 weeks to go before this election. I want to know your thoughts. You can always write me, info@petergshow. No, thank you, Mark. Appreciate you watching. But you need to share. The Peter G Show, Life with Peter G. We don't always do this. I hope that once this is all over, I can move on and get back to normal business. Always touching base, maybe once a month, but not every show. I like current events. I really do. I think people need to be. A lot of people don't get to pay attention, and I enjoy bringing things to possibly your attention. But we're under tough times. There's nasty, dirty business going on. They're willing to kill a man to shut him down because he's that strong. And again, he's not a threat to we the people. He's a threat to the current corrupt governments going on behind the scenes of the United States. I'll say it, and I'll continue to say it. Show me different. I welcome you. Show me different. That's it. I want to thank you for tuning in. Life of Peter G, The Peter G Show, every Wednesday like clockwork. Don't forget to watch all the little highlights through the week of the show. That's where I get all the arguments. I mean, I can't. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of them too. People argue amongst themselves on the clips, but you really need to see the whole show. You really do. You really need to see the whole show. They take a little piece and, it's hard. I try not to make them too long, and it doesn't sometimes fully explain things. It just kind of gets it's called a highlight, for God's sake. It's a highlight clip. Kind of self-explanatory, but for some people, it's like, they still don't get it, and they start questioning me. And believe me, when I say I don't have the time to individually teach everyone or to correct everyone or explain myself to each and every one individual, I can't do it. If the Beatles had to go play club by club in the United States, to get big, they would have never gotten big. They were on the Ed Sullivan Show, so they played one place and went out to the masses through electronic wizardry, such as this. And that's how you get your message out. Thank you for watching. Please share, share, share. I can't do this without you. I need you to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. They throttle me back. They make it really hard for me to be seen. My official Peter G Show Facebook page, that one's good. They haven't really done too much to me. That's growing real well. Follow on Facebook, the official Peter G Show page. Subscribe to the YouTube. I'm on BitChute. I'm on LinkedIn. We're on Rumbles. Rumble's, great. But the thing is, everybody understands on that channel. I want to reach the masses for the ones that are sitting on the fence. Every week, just please subscribe, share, share, share. Turn a friend on. I hope you guys are going to be voting. And I hope that this is helping you to understand what direction to vote. The orange man is not bad, as they paint him to be. That's for you to decide. I'm just trying to point out a few things in case you're indecisive, all right? Again, I'm going to remind you, life is a bitch. It really is. And they have divided us. People are arguing, families are broken up over this. That's exactly what they want from you. They want you to be divided so they can conquer like that. Divide and conquer. United we stand, divided we fall. I'm no genius, but that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. And that was thought up many, many moons ago. Okay? I'd love to say I thought that one up, but it is so true. It could not be truer. That's why it has so much power to that two-phrase statement. Be kind. Try to be kind. Everybody's getting kicked. Life is hard. People are struggling. People are living hand to mouth, day by day, week by week, month to month. I know. And some of my closest friends who I know, people I've known for 30 years plus, are struggling, yet they're on the Titanic. They've bought into the program. I'm not going to not like them because of it. We just have indifferences, and everybody comes around at their own time, as I've been told. I'm just trying to help because I care. Help speed things up for your benefit. But when you've been conditioned to hate one person so badly, it's kind of hard to break that system. So help people out. Try to be understanding. And watch the Peter G Show. I'm Peter G. Again, I love you. Thank you for watching. Support, support, support. Share. I love you guys. See you next week, and peace out.
Peter G Show. Peter